This is Seymour Better here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and tonight I have the honor of cutting a pair of prescription eyeglasses or prescription lenses with anti-glare for none other than Bugs on My Nuts. It is indeed a great honor. I don't know to refer to you as Sir Bugs on My Nuts or just the brevity of the Honorable Bugs on My Nuts. But nonetheless, it is indeed a great honor, so let me begin. This is the RayBan 5268 color 5119, which is the matte black, and the 52 eye size. It comes in a couple different sizes. This is one of the rare RayBans that comes in a smaller 50 eye size. This 52, and I believe a 55. Now it's available in about 7 or 8 colors. Not every color is available in the matte black, but a lot of them are. This is the hard shell Italian leather case with the RayBan cleaning cloth in black. The ophthalmic glasses get a black cleaning cloth. The sunglasses get a silvery gray cloth. Now all of them come with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to protect the temples from rubbing together during shipping. And I'm going to put that on there when I ship to you. But this is the star of the show, the main attraction, the RayBan 5268 in the, you don't believe me? It is the 5268 in color 5119 in the 52 eye size. Now this is unique. It has a shiny black interior, matte black exterior. Matte black, shiny. Matte black, shiny. Yes, the capping is not worn off. So I'm going to take out your original demo lenses, one of which says RayBan. And I'm going to give you all that when I ship to you. I'm going to put it into the tracing element of my blocker. I want to program the shape into the computer. Number 1258. So years from now, should you ever need new lenses, I can mail them right to your home there in El Paso, Texas. And let me hit start. But yeah, I can mail you just the lenses. You don't need to mail the frame back to me based on that number being programmed into the computer. So a little stylus is going to go around and trace the inside bevel of the right side of the frame before doing the same thing on the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. You buy a genuine, authentic RayBan frame, and you'll receive one free pair of clear single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipt has my federal ID tax number, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, you will get reimbursed for this purchase, whether they are prescription or not. Bugs on My Nuts, you know you need a prescription there in El Paso, Texas. I hear everything's larger in Texas. Is that larger? Is that larger? Is the prescription larger? One of the two. Okay, let me get back to work here. Come on, someone's got to be professional here. How about if it's you and I just goof off during this video? How about you be professional while watching this? So, the computer starts the PD at 32.5. I'm going to tap this minus button until we get to the right one. I want to raise the optical center up to 20. Let me make a note of that. I'm raising it 2.5 millimeters up to 20. And these are single vision lenses. All that is done. I need to get your lenses prepped. So your right eye is minus 350 minus 1 at 005. Let's spin the axis wheel to a 005. Hang on, it was like 4 9/10. Now it's 5. Let's see, 350 minus 1. Take the lens out of the protective sleeve. Put the power drum. Let's make sure everything's on 0, dialed in. Let's put that on minus 350. Put the lens in, rotate until the spherical component comes into view. Check your astigmatism correction. That looks good. Let's make sure that power, yes. Yes, I tell you. Put 3 dots on your lenses if the ink hasn't dried yet. It's never that third one that wants to play along. And this is the right lens. Let's do the same thing now for the lens that ain't right. 3 1/4 minus 1 at 177. 3 1/4 minus 1 at 177. We only need to move it 8 degrees. And I'll explain that later. Put the power drum on minus 3 1/4. Rotate the lens until the spherical component, the 3 1/4, comes into view. Close the clamp. Check the astigmatism correction, which I'll explain all that a little bit later. What's up with that third dot? It never makes you proud when you want. And this is L for Latin, which means not right. And if you guys missed any of that, let me recap. Dang, that joke is for me. I did that with my very first video. I'm going to keep telling it until they carry me out of here on a stretcher. So, now that I've got your lenses prepped, the reason why I put those 3 dots on there, it tells me that it's oriented in there just perfectly. The blue cross is the geometric center of your frame. Your eye is just above that and inset. So this is a block. I need to attach this to your lens while it's cutting, or as I like to call it, Jenny from the block. I have no idea why. I just know my wife's a J-Lo fan, and I hear that term in her movies or her songs or something like that. So the black side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick this onto the first one. My wife's also a Hugh Jackman fan too. I haven't figured that one out yet. He doesn't do any singing. All right, shut up. Get on with the thing. So, on the back is a silver button that is a magnet. It's going to do its job twice today. The first time it's going to attach itself to another magnet there in the arm once I pull away the paper. Stick that on there. Get that lined up in there just right. Let's minify the lens down. Make sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame, and it is. We're going to hit that button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. We're going to do the same thing now for the lens that ain't right. Pull the paper away to make the black side sticky. Line up the magnet. Pupillary distance the same for the left eye as it was the right, so that has mirrored over. Same optical center height. Gets those 3 dots lined up in there perfectly. Hit that button. The arm comes down and places the block onto the left lens. Now this is the edger. This is what's going to do all the work while I run my mouth. It costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everyone go out, buy their own, put it on your own kitchen counter. Then you can cut your own lenses at home. You won't need this guy with the 2 thumbs and the bad jokes to do it for you. The actual cutting wheel is a diamond-crusted, heavy grit sandpaper that's going to grind away your lens material until it's the final size. This wheel in the center with that channel, that little valley, it's going to put the V-shaped bevel onto the lens to stay inside the V-shaped bevel of the frame. Hey, what is that? What is that? Did that come out of my tracer? Glad we cleaned that off there. Let's go ahead and do all the, well, we can do that while the lens is cutting. So now the magnet's going to do its job a second time. It's going to attach itself to another magnet there in the chuck, or by now you know I like to call this the Charles because I don't know this machine well enough to call it Chuck. Let's wake up the computer with the old stylus. Wakey, wakey. Wake and saute. No, wait, I don't think how this term goes. So these are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, Hindex plastic, or Trivex, I would select that. And I'm not going to polish the edge of the lens because it won't be seen, and I'm not going to put a bevel on the front convex surface of the lens. I'm only going to put a safety bevel on the rear concave surface of the lens. And that concludes your vocabulary lesson of the day. Turn the page. Ding! So I hit the green button, which is start in every language. The door closes, the clamp shuts. The lens is going to be traced by 2 white styluses, making sure that it is large enough to fit into the frame, which I know the computer does not. So it's doing that now. And then the old carpenter saying measure twice, cut once. Is measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel, so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing. Just a moment, the lens will drop down onto the cutting wheel. Now if you see light flickering in the background, that is water there to catch the optical sawdust. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic, Hindex plastic, and Trivex lenses cut wet, meaning that water sprays onto the lens for the duration of the cutting cycle for those materials, and it does not for polycarbonate. Now water will spray onto this lens for the last 20 seconds just to wash away any optical debris that you see beginning to form on the edge of your lenses. But as I mentioned, your lenses are made out of polycarbonate, which is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. They are virtually unbreakable. These are high-impact ballistics grade lenses. The same lens material that our soldiers wear overseas in combat zones to protect their eyes from shrapnel and flying debris. And speaking of protection, this also has 100% UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin, so you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that need to be reapplied every couple hours when you're direct exposure to the sun there in El Paso. This is permanent and never needs to be reapplied. I just want to clean that inside bevel. I don't know what that was on the inside of the frame, but it's gone now. So, I also want to point out that Bugs on My Nuts contacted me through Instagram originally. He was a follower of mine. I'll tell you how you can reach me on Instagram later, but for New Year's, my wife and I were going up. We have a little small town on the Blue Ridge Parkway we like to go to on the weekends. We were stopping at the grocery store to get some supplies. We're literally walking in through the automatic doors when I get a contact that he liked one of my pictures or was now following me, and I love that name so much. Within a couple days, he reached out. Actually, I turned to my wife and I said, I gotta follow this guy back. With a username like that, you know he's got to be a lot of fun. So I hit him up, see some of his pictures. There's one I loved that had the sticky icky but which I have no idea what. I had to put in Google Translate, and Google didn't know what that was. And there's a few people out there who know what that is, and if you do, then talk amongst yourselves. But the guy has a great sense of humor. A couple of days later, he reached out to me to make a purchase, seeing how fast I could ship. And I told him back that you told me to jump, and I'll say how high. So most of the people find me through my videos. He's one of the rare people that actually found me through Instagram. Communicated with him until a purchase was made, and now I'm making his glasses for him. The honorable, the all-knowing, the all-loving Bugs on my nuts. Who doesn't want a friend like that? So, actually I think it's a nautical term, or is it a musical term? Actually, wait, I think it's a legal term. The Supreme Court makes reference to it from time to time. It's all that legal or medical jargon. Who knows what it really means? So, all I know is I loved it from the second I saw it. I love some usernames. There's some good ones out there, and I think to date, this is the best one. So, just a moment ago, your lens was flat. It's now getting the V-shaped bevel. It's a knife-like edge, if you will. A very dull knife like myself, but a knife-like edge nonetheless. The edge of this lens is going to be so sharp to fit the bevel of this frame that if you were to, this edge of this lens could cut through a piece of tissue, providing that you soaked the tissue in a bucket of water overnight, and then took your lens out and pressed down the tissue very hard. You just might be able to cut through that piece of tissue. So water has begun spraying on the lens, which tells me it's in the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle. In just a moment, a little lever will come out. At the end of that lever is a spinning wheel, a spinning disc, which is a very, very fine grit sandpaper that's going to smooth out the edge of the lens. So should any portion of the back surface of the lens protrude from the frame and come in contact with the cheek, it'll be nice and smooth. However, we will see if any of that does. Even if no portion of the lens protrudes from the back of the frame, the reason I put a safety bevel on the lens, I'll show you in just a moment. So for now, I'm going to open that door with my mind. You like that? I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. I just got to stare at it for a couple hours and then it'll melt. But dry everything off there, run my thumbnail around. I remind everyone, if you can think of a funnier joke, write it down on a $100 bill and mail it to me, and I will read it on the air. You don't even have to put your name. I'll recognize your handwriting and give you credit for the joke. So remember how your lens started off like that? Now it's like that because your lenses are thin in the center, thicker the edges. So the further from the center of the lens you keep going, the thicker it'll be. So a very large rectangle. Top and bottom's never an issue. Rarely is it here. It's usually this outer edge that you have the thickness. But that's not bad. It started off like that, ended up like that. So let's see if it fits first time around. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner first, using my thumbs pressed down the nose. No, it does not want to go in, so I'm going to take it down a little bit. Press that back on there firmly. Line the magnet back up, hit retouch. Just like before, the clamp shuts, the door closes, the clamp shuts. It's going to bypass the actual grinding wheel and go right back to the bevel wheel. There's the old saying, you can always cut more off of the lens, you can never add it back on. So I start a little bit large and work my way down till everything's perfect. Now a lot of places in these high volume labs, 95% of all optical shops don't cut their own lenses. That's why they tell you to come back in 2 weeks. They mail it to one of these high volume labs that do about 1,000 pair a day. And they don't care if it's a little bit large first time around. They will heat your frame up, causing the plastic to be more pliable and force it in there. Now, the reason I do what's called a cold mount, all you guys out there who've been married a long time know what that is. The cold mount is when you insert the frame, the lens into the frame without heating it up. I want it to snap in there easily. If I were to heat the frame and the lens were too large, it would cause the frame to stretch, or what we in the business called roll. If you can imagine your bevel being like a gutter, if the lens were too large, the bottom of your frame would roll outwards, giving you an ugly cosmetic look, as well as shortening the lifespan of the frame. So that's why I will do a cold mount. Again, that's an optical term. I don't know what that means. It could be medical, it could be legal, who knows? I didn't know it was going to be so scientific. I'm just here to work. So, dry everything off there, tuck the lens in at the outside corner. Now it pops in there easily. Let's do the same thing for the left. Flip that over to L. I'm going to take it down one step more, line up the magnet into the Chuck, the Charles, the Chucky baby, the Chuckster, the Chuckarama. Hit start. Just again, the door closes, the clamp shuts, just like before the two off-white styluses. The styluses that formerly were known as the white styluses. We'll go around and trace the left side of the frame, and again double checking where to place the bevel so you have the least amount of edge thickness showing, of which you got none. Bugs on my nuts. Look at that, you got none there. No edge thickness whatsoever with your prescription in this frame. Plastics do a much better job of hiding edge thickness, and that's also why everyone gets high quality polycarbonate lenses. Dry that off, throw that back in there, put the sticker on there. By the way, your lenses are aspheric. Everyone gets that for free. Aspherical simply means not spherical. It fits in today's flatter curvature frames. A spherical lens is round in every direction, gives you an ugly cosmetic look. So everyone gets polycarbonate, everyone gets aspheric. That's what you get when you buy glasses from me. So I'm going to put it in just above that black dot. Turn the fine tune knob back to 5. I believe it's 5. Yes, 5. Check the power, and I am getting minus 350, exactly halfway. 3 1/4, 350, 375, 4. Exactly halfway between 3 and 4. That's because the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. Starting at 0 and going up in quarter increments from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. So you're on the 14th rung of a ladder. You need 14 steps of far-sighted correction. You are nearsighted, meaning that with your glasses off, you can see everything up close great. In fact, this little flashlight is with your glasses off, is much larger than it really appears. So that's why there's a minus sign. Your lenses will minify that down to the correct size. Now, once it's the correct size, we need to be able to see the detail of everything. That's what your astigmatism, uncorrected astigmatism does. It makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. And there's a curve to the lens. Cyl is abbreviation for cylinder. If you can imagine a can, or this being round, this being a cylinder. You have one curve on your eye this way, another, your spherical curve, which is 350, an astigmatic curve, which is another 1. That's how you line those two curves up to make everything crisp. That's where the curvature of your lens comes from. It's just the second curve on there. So let's check that. And we're getting minus 450, exactly halfway between 4 and 5. That's because you add two like signs together. If you loaned someone $3.50 and they borrowed another $1, they would owe you $4.50. That's where we're at, $4.50 in the red. Now your axis is at 5. Astigmatism, when we correct for astigmatism, that's like the fine tune knob. And when we turn that fine tune knob from 0 to 90 to 180, we're going to turn it to 005, so 5 degrees away from the 180. Now your left eye, you only need 13 steps of far-sighted correction, but you need the same astigmatism correction. So we're going to end up at minus 4 1/4, but we're going to turn that fine tune knob to 177. You would think that 5 and 177 would be very far apart. We have 5 here, 177 here, just 3 degrees away from the 180. But that's actually very, very close. Your right eye is 5 degrees away from 180. Your left eye, 3 degrees away at 177. Everything's on the 180 meridian with 90 and 290 up here, 270 down here. If you were to do a complete circle, of which I can't do, my wrist does not rotate like that. So, now this frame sells for $140, the RayBan 5268, and either 50, 52, or 55 sells for $140. It doesn't matter what color it comes in. The house anti-glare adds $44.99. So anyone else buying this would pay $184.99. I do have other anti-glares. You can also add transitions in gray, brown, green, whatever you want. I can do the new mirror coatings, whatever you want. I just can't be serious. So now the safety bevel is going to come out and put a fine, heavily fine smoothing out on that back surface. And again, the reason why I put the safety bevel, even though it doesn't protrude from the frame, when I press down on the lens, I don't want any rough edges left over from, let me clean that up, I see some optical sawdust. When I press the lens down, well, here, let me show you in just a moment. Seeing is believing. Actually, I think believing is believing. Seeing is seeing. And don't ever get those confused. Dry everything off. And actually, while I have the lens out, let me go ahead and clean those dots off the lens. I always like to do that when I have a chance before it's in the frame. I don't like to get any chemicals near the frame. Use my thumbnail to get the rest of that off. I'm all about protecting the frame. The reason why I use the chemical to clean that while it's outside, I don't want the chemical to come in contact with the frame. The reason why I put the safety bevel on the back surface of the lens, even though it doesn't protrude from the frame, I tuck it in at the outside corner. This edge of the lens is going to pass by the front there, and that's why I want everything to be, come on, where are you at? Are you going to make me take you down some more? I think you are. I think you are. Oh, no, it went in that way. Okay. But the reason why I put the safety bevel is I press the insertion of the lens against the frame. I don't want it to mar the frame in any way, shape, or form. I don't want a sharp edge come into contact with your frame. I wouldn't want it done on my frame, so I assume you don't want it done on yours. So we're going to come back here, turn the fine-tune knob to 177. Put it in above that black dot. And I'm getting 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Now you have one step of astigmatism correction. We're going to end up with what? -4 1/4. Man, I couldn't have done a better job if I'd cut these lenses myself. So I want to take that portion of the tissue that has the all-off, the optical grade acetone. Well, actually, let me check your pupillary distance, which is 60. Hold the back of the card up. Place the PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and we hold it up to the left. We're getting 60 millimeters, so that is cut perfectly. Where'd that little dot go? Let's go ahead and clean that off. And then I'm going to give it a final cleaning. Let me get some of that residue. Let me get a final cleaning with a much safer lens cleaner. Of course, speaking of cleaning lenses, I include not just a pamphlet to ask for your selfie to have on the website in every brochure, but I also put cleaning instructions on there, not only to care for your frame and your lenses, but for your RayBan cleaning cloth, a premium microfiber cloth that I produce and provide, and how to clean your case so it too will last you for years. I've been told from people who have bought from other places before me that nobody else on the internet does that. They appreciate the tips on how to clean your glasses so they will last you for years, your lenses, your frames, both microfibers, and your hard case. So, but bugs on my nuts, please hook me up with a selfie. I would love to be able to put your picture on my website and on my Instagram post. And of course, should you post any pictures, hashtag me at freeprescriptionlenses.com. But for now, let's I'm going to get these in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and press. Oh, but when you get these in mail, there's a small chance that these could fit too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That's because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other. And because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. But I'm going to get these in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. Set them on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. When I take mine off and press down on one side, they wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. For those of you keeping score at home, I'm wearing the RayBan 2132, color 6053 in the blue crystal. So it'll match my blue and crystal shirt. Well, white, but it'll make a blue-white frame. Let me flip this over, press down. There is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do. That neither temple is askew like that. They are equal. Check the tension on each spring hinge. That's good. So that is it. If you've liked what you've seen, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram as freeprescriptionlenses.com. You can follow me on Twitter as freerxlenses, because I couldn't have a long username on Twitter at the time. And if you have any questions, you can contact me on the Contact Me button on the website, or you can email me directly at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. You can also leave a question or a comment in the comment section below. That's even better, because everyone else will be able to read that and learn from your inquisitive nature. So again, I can't say this enough. Bugs on my nuts. Thank you for your purchase of the RayBan 5268 color 5119 in the 52 eye size. And everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.